YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka the producer. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, go ahead, hit the doggone subscribe button, hit the doggone notification bell. Every time I post some new content, uh, little off subject, or at least for y'all, right? But I've actually like, if you put like this, if you're a fan of science fiction, like I am, then the title that I'm naming this show is this is what the fuck you actually really want to watch. I'm a huge Godzilla geek, a huge Godzilla fan. I probably have seen probably all of the Godzilla movies, right? And on top of that, I'm also a huge Star Trek fan. Now, whether you actually really want to call me a Trekkie or a Trekker, just know that I'm a Star Trek fan. Really don't give two loving fucks about Star Wars. I mean, I'll watch it, but that's just as far as I actually really go with it. So, enough of that. You know, for those of y'all that actually really keep up with this type of deal, just know that Godzilla versus Kong is going to come out, I want to say March 26th. It's going to be out in the movie theaters, as well as they're gonna live stream it or whatever the fuck that they actually really do on HBO and Cinematic, whatever the fuck that shit is, Netflix, whatever the fuck, right? So for the most part, right, everybody, I've seen the trailers, right, and for the most part, you know, everybody is like, okay, well, what the fuck is wrong with Godzilla, right? Why is he tearing up shit? Okay, well, first and foremost, he's a goddamn dinosaur. That's what the fuck he's not a dinosaur, so to speak, right? But it's like, okay, he gonna tear up shit, like, regardless, because I'm Godzilla. So who the fuck actually really gonna stop me from doing what the fuck I want to do, right? So then you bring Kong into this, right? And for those of y'all that actually really remember the 1963 version when these two got together, right? For the most part, you know, a lot of them, you know, depending on who the fuck you talk to, right? You know, it really wasn't no clear winner, because you had the shit that would happen previously, you know, because go back and watch the doggone movie if you haven't watched it, because I'm not going to actually really sit up here and do a blow by blow with y'all on this, right? But with this new movie, and for those that have actually really watched the trailer, kick-ass, badass trailer, right? For the most part, yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching, you know, either going to the movie, go to the actual movie, or actually really catch it online, right? I'm actually really looking forward to how this movie is actually really going to play out. And for the most part, I will say this much. I sincerely hope that this movie actually really turns out to actually really be the type of movie that the whole MonsterVerse universe, right, is actually really looking at. But looking at the preview, to be perfectly honest, I mean, go back, I'm gonna go watch it regardless. But looking at the preview, I can truly honestly say, okay, these motherfuckers, they done laid, these motherfuckers have shit the bed again, right? Because although you really don't actually really know the story behind these two, and then that's for the simple fact that, okay, you done made a story behind these two. I mean, yeah, okay, I get it. It's make believe, just like all those, just like every goddamn thing else in Hollywood is make believe. Some of this shit is actually really based on actual events, right? But when you actually really stop and look at it, let's look at the whole battle axe thing that Kong has, right? Now, this is where I actually really say that the shit actually really is fucked up, right? Because if you actually really go back and look at the 1963 or 62 version of the film, right? If there indeed was a story or a feud between the Kongs and the Godzillas, right? Don't you think that in the 1963 version that he would have found that shit? I mean, think about it for a minute, right? This is some shit that's been going on for millions of years. Now, I actually really get the simple fact that, okay, well, yeah, you can fight a motherfucker and fight a motherfucker and fight a motherfucker until you be like, hey, you know what? Let me try the different approach behind this. But it shouldn't actually really take you that goddamn long to actually really be like, okay, if I tear off one of this motherfucker's dorsal fin, which for the most part, I actually really don't foresee that happening unless one of Godzilla's kind had died, right? And even there, you know, then one of the Kongs or whatever said, oh, let me go snatch this right fast. And then I'm gonna make it into an axe. And then the next time that I fight, right, then I will use this axe. And it's the whole thing of it is like it really doesn't make any motherfucking sense. Because if you know if you really know the science of Godzilla, the dorsal plates or fins or whatever the fuck that you actually really want to call it, right? All what the fuck that does, it just telling you what the fuck is going to happen next, right? It really doesn't actually really have anything to do with the actual atomic breath, if you will. Or at least that's just how I'm looking at it, right? Because you have to look at Godzilla's dorsal plates the same way we as men, once we get our dick hard. Just because our dick get hard, that really don't mean shit is gonna happen after the fact. Right? Your dick can be hard and be like, huh, oh well, I thought I was gonna get some pussy, but no, it didn't happen. Right? And then it's just for the simple fact, right? With a man, right? You know, it's all about, okay, well, look, if you cut my shit off, talk about my balls or whatever. If you cut my balls off, that right there is what actually really causes the dick to be hard. Along with motherfucking vision, you know, of what the fuck it is that you actually really see. It's actually really gonna turn your motherfucking ass on in the first goddamn place. So so this whole deal about the dorsal plate deal, getting it, giving it, where it at. He tore it off of Godzilla during the fight, or he actually really got it off of one of the other family members, which I really think is bullshit, because here's the deal. You gonna act like really, these motherfuckers, they gonna act like really go like, okay, well, okay, we gonna make this into a feud. Like, okay, that they've been fighting against each other for years. And then, like I said, I get it. I get it. You really don't know nothing about the two. I mean, for the most part, it's almost like, okay, hey, look, here's a pile of shit, right? Y'all shaping and molding up to wherever the fuck y'all want to do it as. And if you can actually like really take some of the stench out of it, then guess what? We'll make it into the next movie, right? But if you actually really stop and think about it for a minute, yeah, you fucked with the pile of shit, but you really didn't take none of the stench out of it. Because again, let's just say that this between the Godzilla crew and the King Kong crew, they've been at it for years. Like some serious years. So you mean to tell me that out of all of this time, somebody or one of the Kongs said, you know what? Let me snatch one of these fins off of his back, make it into an axe, right? And then I'm going to actually really be able to catch it and use it as a weapon towards Godzilla. But again, that's the charge up. That's the charge up. It's no different than me, like, it's almost like putting water on water almost. Or you already got a fire burning, so you gonna throw some more gasoline on it. I mean, yeah. The only thing you gonna do is keep the fire burning. Right? So, so the whole thing of it is this. Just look at it, right? The same way that you look at the light switch, or anything else for that matter, right? In order for the light to come on, something else actually really has to happen. So I go over there and cut the light switch off, and the light is gonna go off. Or I can actually really go over there and cut the light switch on, power up, and by the time you flip the switch and then it gets to power up, then the light is the actual motherfucking manifestation of what the fuck you just did, right? So with taking off the dorsal fin or dorsal plate or whatever the fuck you actually want to call it, right? All what that is, that ain't nothing more than the motherfucking light switch, right? And for the most part, again, it's the light switch. It's the manifestation, and then the atomic breath is the manifestation of you or Godzilla in this point. Turn on the goddamn light switch, right? So, okay, so Kong has a motherfucking dorsal plate or dorsal fin. Big fucking deal. I'm almost like, okay, well, what the fuck that mean? Like, really, right? Is it really gonna take any effect? So now, here's something else about it. will it act like really, what would the effect be? Like, okay, because if y'all saw the doggone preview, right? Y'all already, you got it, and then he shoot his breath and caught it with the plate, with the fin or whatever. And you can really see him coming down, and he's finna like apparently knock the shit out of him, right? But if you have to really stop and think about it for a minute, okay, you actually really got to stop and be like, okay, this is going to be bullshit, because if you act like, if you actually really stop and think about the movie Godzilla versus Biollante, right? And they had the Super X2, right? And they had like where that if Godzilla like shot his fire, and if that mirror thing actually really caught it, it wasn't gonna do nothing but actually like really reflect the shit back at him, right? And for the most part, it really didn't do nothing to Godzilla, right? So when you so again, so if you look at it from that aspect, the dorsal, the battle axe will be, in my opinion, inconclusive. It's not going to do shit to Godzilla. You have to really stop and think about it for a minute. Because all what that is nothing more than a power up. It's a power up of what the fuck is going to happen next. Right? And then here's another way that you actually really look at that particular battle axe will actually really be it will be not effective, right? So let's just say that you got a whole family of Godzillas or whatever. Now, just because you got a whole family of Godzillas, right, that don't mean that all of them got the same motherfucking DNA, if you will, right? Godzilla is called King of the Monsters for a goddamn reason, people, right? Because his shit is more potent than the rest of these motherfuckers, right? So you done went and snatched some shit off of somebody else, thinking that you finna whip Godzilla. Okay, got it. Fuck games as usual, right? But for the most part, I get it. Hollywood, as usual, right? But then again, I'm just like, okay. It's almost like, okay, they won't come to win so bad that it's motherfucking ridiculous. But again, it's just like what I said. The whole battle axe, bringing Mechagodzilla into this. I mean, yeah, I will watch it, but just know it's going to be another shit show as far as like the Monsterverse goes. Right? For the most part, I can actually really be like, okay, you know what? Let me have a shot at this. Let me have a shot of motherfucking directing a goddamn Godzilla movie. Regardless of who is going to be in it, who the fuck he finna fight, and why. Because it's two things, because, just like I say, it's that whole look, that whole battle axe shit is nothing more than bullshit. Because for one, if that was the case, if these motherfuckers had been into it for millions of years, then the battle axe would have showed up in the 1963 film, right? And then if you actually really stop and think about it, right? From 1963, the 1963 film, the motherfucking the Godzilla versus Biollante, you know, with the Super X2, right? It really didn't have no effect on it because that's the actual shit coming back at him, right? Space Godzilla, right? Same shit. He shoot and come back at him, right? And then for the most part, you got to be like, out of the three that I mentioned, two of them, or three of them, right? Godzilla actually really came out victorious. If you actually really look at it from that aspect. So the whole battle axe bullshit, that's exactly what the fuck it is. It's bullshit. Like, really. And just like what I said, right? You know, okay, yeah, you just snatched it off of somebody else. But there's a reason why Godzilla carries the title King of the Monsters, where that out of all of his lineage, his family, whatever the fuck you actually really want to call it, right? There's a reason why that he is the king of the monsters. So you go snatch all the motherfucking Dosa fans off of any of them, it ain't gonna mean shit to Godzilla. Like, really? He gonna leave you like, really, motherfucker? So this is you. So you really think this is what the fuck is gonna happen, right? I'm immune to that shit. That's why I'm the king. God damn it, plain and simple. But hey, look, I got it. I got it, right? And then, you know, I'll be the first one to say, you know, I fell into it because, you know, I actually really bought into the whole motherfucking, well, the whole Mecha Godzilla shit, right? But then when you actually really see, because like for those of us that saw the trailer, you see it, and you be like, oh, okay. And then when you actually really go back and look at it again, you be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But the whole battle axe shit, no, that don't make sense. Because I just gave you references. I actually gave you 3 references on why the battle axe is done would be not effective towards Godzilla. So, hey, it is what it is. So, with that being said, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dad, tell Big Bertha, tell your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, across the street, around the corner. Follows Harris, aka Medusa. Y'all know, motherfuckers. On your back, bitches, and I'm a holler.